Hey, you can go.
Hi, everybody. We'll just give it a few minutes so everybody can join, and then we'll start the webinar. Just give it another minute or two, and then we'll start. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Emmanuel. I'm the ISP Sales Manager of TP-Link South Africa. Next to me is Ruan. He's our Senior Technical Engineer, predominantly focusing on Aginet ACS. In this session, we'll explore our Aginet ACS config and the TAUC help service providers simplify operations, reduce support overheads, and scale more efficiently. So what we'll do, guys, we'll go through all the slides. There's some live demos that Ruan's going to do. There's also some questions and answers. There is a Q&A tab at the top of the screen. We're looking forward to answering as many questions as possible. We're excited about this session. There's some surprises in the webinar, which we believe is going to excite our ISP customers. And once we go through the presentation and the webinar, you'll start seeing TAUC, ACS platforms starting to merge, and what the benefit is to ISPs, especially with the cloud solutions that we're going to be offering. It's a very exciting webinar. And once again, thank you for your time. We know you guys are busy, but we're looking forward to this session. And yeah, so let's get started. Before we begin the demonstrations, let's take a quick look at what we'll be covering today, guys. Our objective as TP-Link is to walk through the operational workflow that many ISPs follow when deploying and managing customer devices using Aginet platforms. We'll start with ACS and look at how the platform can be deployed within a virtualized environment. Once ACS is operational, we'll move into Aginet Config and demonstrate how configuration profiles can be created and standardized for large-scale deployments. We'll then explore how routers can be managed remotely through ACS, including visibility, diagnostics, firmware management, and day-to-day support functions. From there, we'll transition into TAUC and demonstrate how devices and networks can be onboarded to provide real-time visibility and operational insights. Finally, we'll look at how these platforms work together to improve efficiency today and what the future looks like with the TAUC ACS platform. The key thing to remember, guys, is that today's webinar follows a practical workflow. Deploy, configure, manage, and monitor. By the end of the session, we're confident you'll have a clear understanding of how these solutions fit together within a real ISP day-to-day environment. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Ron.
Okay, so before we jump into the individual platforms, let's just look at the bigger picture. So Aginet is designed around a simple operational workflow. We start by developing a plan for the network, how these devices will communicate back to the management systems, and then we start deploying and managing devices with ACS or with the TAUC. We also standardize configurations using Aginet Config, ensuring consistency across the network. Finally, TAUC provides the visibility and analytics needed to monitor performance and proactively support subscribers. Together, these platforms help service providers simplify complexity, improve operational efficiency, and make better decisions through greater visibility and control. As we move through today's session, you'll see how each platform plays a specific role within its workflows, and how they work together to create a more scalable operational model. So let's begin with ACS deployment. And yeah, just before we look at deployment, let's take a look and understand why ACS is such an important platform for service providers. As subscriber numbers grow, managing devices becomes increasingly challenging. Support teams spend more time troubleshooting issues, updating firmware, and maintaining consistent configurations across large device fleets. The ACS addresses this challenge by providing centralized control from a single platform. It enables remote device management, diagnostics, firmware upgrades, and configuration changes at scale. The result is faster support, reduced operational overhead, and management and a management platform that grows with your network. For many ISPs, ACS becomes the operational foundation that enables efficient and scalable device management. Now that we've covered the value of ACS, let's look at how it's deployed within a typical ISP environment. Taking a sip of water. So as you can see, ACS would be in the middle with your support team, network operations center on your left. They all log into the platform using HTTP or HTTPS. And your network and devices on your network is then managed via TR069 or TR181. You can have up to, I think, 20,000 devices on the Aginet ACS. That's, yeah, there's a few different licenses, but as you install it, you'll have 1,000 devices that you could manage. Once you start increasing your numbers, you just apply for a upgrade license from us, which is also free of charge. And we then upgrade as you expand and you go along. So on the next slide is a typical installation. So yeah, just a quick overview. you'll start with your VMware or your Proxmox or Hyper-V, whatever virtual environment you prefer. You'll then select a Ubuntu 64-bit profile. We recommend a 16 gig of RAM as minimum. 500 gig of storage. This is only if you're a very large customer. You could start off with 50 or 100 gigs. Just load the ACS into your platform. Obviously, with a downloaded ISO file, which you can download from our platform once you've registered. And we will then start the installation. Just a few toggles that we need to do on the process, but the process is quite simple. It's basically a clone from an existing software that's already created. So there's not much to configure on the back end of it. Once the process is completed, you'll configure the network interface, which would typically be your public IP or your management IP that the devices would communicate to. And once that is configured, make sure that that's got internet breakout, of course, because you need to activate the ACS. And once that's done, your device is ready for deployment. So I think we can start by moving on to the live demonstration. I'll just quickly show you how it would work typically, and yeah, just how the installations process is started. So let me just get the screen on.
Guys, if you have any questions so far, you're more than welcome to put them in the Q&A tab.
Okay, so got my screen on. Just checking something with Emmanuel quickly. All right, cool. So we're going to start the basic setup. We'll click on New Virtual Machine. This is VMware Workstation for everyone. Some technical difficulties here in the back. Just give us a moment. Okay, all good. Okay, we'll move on to the demonstration quickly. So we'll just click on typical recommended settings. Select your image. We will then go to wherever we've saved the installation file or the ISO. Double click on that. Okay, once that's selected, click on next. You'll select Linux, Ubuntu 64-bit. You will choose the allocation where it will be installed or allocate the storage path. Obviously, you can name it whatever you want to. I'd recommend just minimum of 50 gigs. You start off with, select what you prefer on the bottom. And on hardware, minimum 8 gigs of RAM, and just hold on. Yeah, sorry, we got distracted by the comments now. So select 8 gigs of RAM. and select 4 cores of processor, or four numbers of 4 processors. Once you've selected that, you can just click on Finish and power on the machine. The installation would then start. Just click on Enter for the first option. This normally takes a while for the initial process to start. Okay, yeah, so I think while the process is starting, and yeah, I think we can move on to how we would typically configure a device to create a master configuration profile that you would use in Aginet Config. So if you'd allow us, we just quickly gonna plug in one of our routers and we'll start the configuration.
Everyone's just busy setting up the device EX5
This is the EX511.
511. Perfect.
As you can see, the installation has started. Not sure if it's requested anything from us yet in manual.
No, not yet. Loading.
All right, so as you can see, that's the process. It will ask you for permissions to overwrite the partition. But yeah, let's let that run, and we can then start with configuring the router. Just make sure that we are getting an address from it. All right, so first step would be to log into the router. Our Aginet routers typically are standardized on 192.168.0.1 as the default LAN range. For the first login, we need to select super admin. This is your ISP admin. This is where you would configure your CWMP settings, administrate the roles, and all that. I think the device is still booting up, so we'll just give it a moment. Let's see how the ACS installation is going. Yeah, our apologies, guys. We could have set this router up a long time ago. But this is where we are now. So we just wait for it to get communication, and we'll run through the setup process. There we go. Okay, so back to the browser. As I said, super admin is your ISP configuration. You could decide if you want to standardize your normal admin credentials for your customer logins, or you could just keep that blank and your customer could set that up. That is all up to the ISP. So we've saved our super admin password now. We just need to verify it in the next screen. So this is the first time this router is being is being started up. So we'll probably just need to set some time settings. A quick way to do this is to type in SO, select South Africa, click on next. You could skip all this if you are configuring it on an ISP side. Obviously, for ISP mode, you could have your VLANs on your services, whatever you prefer as your default. But wireless settings, if you skip this will stay default. So first thing we need to do is go to advanced, go to system tools, go to CWMP settings. And as you can see, it's defaulted to point to TAUC. However, we'll be setting up a in-house ACS today, or I've actually got one running, so we can just use that as the credentials. But yeah, so yeah, let's maybe set up a IP address for this. Let's use 172.16.8.8 for today. So we'll just change that to 172.16.8.8. We will then specify the port. 7548 is HTTP and 757 is HTTPS. So we've selected HTTPS as our default. Admin would stay admin, and that would stay admin as well. This is just for testing. Obviously, in a real environment, you will change that. I'd also always suggest just changing the inform interval to a few seconds. This will allow faster communication to your system. Save that, then click, just toggle CWMP and inform on. Save that. What we can do, guys, is we can just set up a different wireless SSID. So we'll just call this ACS demo 2, and I will show you why we do this. Let's see if we can do. I'll explain this later. So what we're doing, guys, is we're setting up a batch configuration profile. So this profile will be used to batch configure your devices with your ACS settings on. Your ISP SSID could be anything. You could have that as a default, or you could specify it per device depending on what you want to do. But on each of our devices, on the bottom of the router, we've got a password, a wireless password printed. So if we select this key, it will actually tell the new device where the configuration is being pushed to keep that password on the router as a SSID password. So obviously you could have your specific ISP password that you give to all your customers, but this is a nice function for the device to have a unique password, and it's just easier for the customers that are already printed. So that's a nice option. I always suggest that. So we'll save this. And once this is saved, we will export this in this configuration as a bin file, and we will then use it on our configuration tool. Once that's done, we'll just say backup and restore, backup. Or let's just use desktop. It's very important to not change that name. Right. Cool. It's downloaded. So what we're going to do now is do a factory restore, right? So this makes sure, yeah, this clears the ISP config. Seeing that you are logged into super admin, this will now clear the ISP config and get the router back to its defaults. So once that's done, well, we could actually start with going to Aginet Config. So Aginet Config is a service that you'll run from Windows. Once you've clicked on the icon, it actually starts a process in the background and it opens a web UI automatically. So go in there. So for this kind of configuration, a precise config would be created. So we'll just call this right. We've created our profile. Now we could actually import it. Sure. So we've just created this one here. So we are importing the exported bin file. Make sure that I've selected the right one. Okay, cool. No, it just took a while to import. All right. So this is good. Obviously, for every bin file that you import, you can also have a different profile. So if you've got different regions that you are deploying these devices in, or specific parameters you want to select for, a specific batch of deployments, you can change these settings here. But if you're doing it for the whole network, you can just have one profile. You have your logo config, favicon icons, app logos that you can import in here. This will then be either this logo or the logo as you log into the UI, or the app logo. If your customer assigns the router to his Aginet app on his phone, your ISP logo can actually also be visible on there. You could input your email, obviously support email, support phone number, service hours. This will also allow the customer to easily phone your network operations in case of any issue. Okay, so now that we've created that and we've reset the router, we could actually there's one configuration on your network interface that you'll have to do for the software to communicate between the software and the Aginet devices. You have to select or assign this IP 192.168.66.10. Once that is configured, you will go to your app, your configuration settings and select network card for V1, V2 CPE. You should see that address. Once you have selected that, you can click on configure. We've created a precise configuration. So we'll then select that profile that we just created, which is ACS Demo 2, and we will confirm. Once you confirm that, the services will start running, and whatever devices you have plugged in will, on boot up within the first 5 seconds, start receiving this config. It could be 5 routers, it could be 20 routers. So let me just quickly reboot that router, and you should see the configuration being pushed. just rebooted it. Let's see if we see the process starting up. There we go. As you can see, configuration succeeded. It took about 2 seconds. And we now should see that this config, whatever we've created in the original bin file, should then be on the router. So let's just reboot the router. While we do that, change back to DHCP. And wait for it to come up. Let's see how the Aginet installation is going. Okay, so here it asks us permissions. So typically we'll just say yes and yes. There's 2 options there, but I'm going to stop this installation. I've installed another demo that we'll use to just showcase what the ACS does. All right, so let's go back to that. Let's check once this moves up again. We should also now not have to set a super admin password. Obviously, the device needs to be active before we do that, so we'll just give a few more seconds. But I think while it starts up, let's go to Aginet ACS. And just, yeah, I'll give you an overview of how it would look like once you've pulled in your devices into the platform. So you've got your home screen, which gives you a breakdown of your devices online, offline, devices that's gone off for longer than 7 days, and so on. I mean, this is just a test environment, so I don't have a lot of devices active here. I think I've got 1 that we'll work on shortly. But yes, basically, once you've installed the ACS, the first thing you'll do is change your IP address. So this will typically be your public IP that you'll assign to the device. It's gateway, DNS server. Yes, the HTTP and HTTPS ports would probably stay default. And then CPE settings, depending on how many devices you have, how much resources you have on your server, you'll then set your inform intervals. This is the communication between the ACS and the routers. Depending on what you need to monitor and how you want to monitor, you'll then set it up. After set it to 30, but some ISPs have up to 5 or 10 minutes. This is where you configure your username and passwords. Then I think we can just move on to, yeah, I mean, this is a quick system info tab. Just gives you a breakdown on the resources that's currently being used. But yeah, further than that, back to devices. So once the device has reached your ACS, communication has been established, you could just go click on show. It should then open the device. All right, cool. So here we've got its management. This is everything that we can change from a management perspective. If the customer is requesting a different LAN IP, you can change that there. You to change your DHCP range as well. Change your lease time and all that. Okay, so once that's changed, it should push it to the router. On your WAN interface settings, you can also change triple PoE, the different triple PoE credentials. Obviously, we've only set a standard DHCP on this, so we can't really change anything there. If you've got a VLAN service enabled, you can change that. That's about it on the WAN side. On the wireless side, you can obviously change your SSID. ER3 would specify exact ER parameters for as you've set it up. You can also edit some of these parameters through this interface here. So you could edit that, for instance, or set it to false or true. Then you've got your diagnostics, do ping tests, trace routes, upload tests, download tests, UDP echo tests, NS lookup test. And then obviously if you want to remove this router from your network, you could just delete it, or you could do a firmware upgrade from here. You could download its configuration file, or just factory reset it. Getting to profiles and configuration. This is typically how you would set up a batch configuration change or a firmware upgrade to your whole network. So you'll select firmware upgrade, select your router, select your hardware version of the firmware that you want to upgrade, and you could then click on firmware file. Once you've uploaded a file into files, you just click on save, and on its next inform, it will actually push that firmware upgrade or configuration file, or triple PoE settings for that matter. You can also change periodic inform intervals through this, but this is not typically. It would adopt the settings that are set on here. Right. Okay. So I think that's about it for now between Aginet Config, ACS. I think we can move back to Emmanuel. Let me just this. Okay, so let's just quickly go through this again. So once the ACS is operational, next step is standardization. We've gone through that. Aginet Config allows ISPs to create reusable configuration profiles and apply them across multiple devices at the same time. The workflow is simple. Create a profile, connect devices, apply the configuration. You can perform firmware upgrades if needed as well. Once it's done, just pack the devices back and deploy them. But yeah, this reduces deployment time, improves consistency, and helps scale operations more efficiently. So yeah, let's move on to the next slide. This, yeah, we've gone through that while we waited for the ACS. So I think we can just move on to the next section of the webinar. I think we've also covered most of this, but yeah, basically we just looked at how remote CPE management is simplified, where operators can monitor devices, view status information, and access management functions without needing to be on site. We'll look at config management. through different platforms as well later. And then finally, we'll just demonstrate diagnostics and so on. I think we'll do that all through TAUC. But yeah, I think we're done with the ACS side and the config side. We are running out of time. We don't want to keep you guys on for too long. I think we can do a TAUC demo just to compare to what we've shown on ACS. Yeah, so let's move on to TAUC. So for those who don't know, TAUC gives operators real-time visibility into device status, online rate, network health, and performance trends. It's all from a single dashboard. So on the left side, you can see that the main areas TAUC helps with real-time visibility, mesh network insights, performance monitoring, proactive alerts, customer experience. This is important because support teams are not only trying to see whether the device is online, they need to understand what is happening across the entire network. For example, TAUC can help identify mesh topology issues, link quality problems, offline devices, abnormal statuses, and performance changes before they become trigger support cases. The key value is proactive operations. Instead of waiting for the customer to report a problem, teams can monitor, investigate, and respond faster. So TAUC helps ISPs move from reactive troubleshooting to better visibility, better customer support, customer experience, and more efficient network support. Okay, so let's quickly open TAUC. I've got a few devices on there active, so we can just have a quick run through on what we can do. All right, so I've logged into TAUC, and yeah, so this is our dashboard. Obviously, this is all going to be great because these devices have only been powered up for a few days. I've only got 3 devices on here. Let's go to the network list and actually go into one of the devices. So as you can see here, it does indicate that there is a mesh device inactive. So I've added this mesh device to it, and then I've powered that off just to give you an overview on how it would report. So here is the overall network health. It's got a total health score of 38, obviously because of the instability. We've got network stability. As you can see, I've powered off the device around 12. Environment interference, so you can actually see what other channels are being broadcasted around this device. You could set up 30-day speed test performance profiles. Yeah, obviously this is very limited at the moment. These devices have not been powered up for long. It shows you a bit deeper network map on how the wireless is currently. And then obviously if you had customers connected to this, it will also indicate the exact customer's experience, you know, RSS levels, throughput, and so on. And then well, this is very similar to what we can do in ACS. You've got your WAN settings that you could set. You have your LAN settings. You could also add additional IP addresses. You could change your wireless SSID. You could enable, disable band steering, add a guest network, or add a new SSID entirely. You could also toggle HTTPS or HTTP management from here, from the WAN port. And you've also got your TR3, where you could set different parameters according to what you prefer. Then just a bit deeper into TAUC. So on my plan, I've got AI managed Wi-Fi and value chain subscription enabled. These are all value-added services that are paid for it's an additional cost. It's not added as part of the basic TAUC or standard TAUC. You've also got your speed test server and alarm and optimization that you can add as a value-added service. This tab here gives you overall statistics of all your deployed devices. As I said, this will all look great. There's only 3 deployed. You could also view your firmware management between all your different models. And you could also see if you've deployed 1 packs or 2 packs or 3 packs in your network. There's Deco ISP as well as Aginet and Deco ISP combined. Yeah, look, I think that's about as much as we can get into today. Let's move on to Emmanuel. Let him give us a lekker announcement. Just give us a moment. Let's just get this sorted. Apologies, guys. We just have a little technical difficulty. That's all right.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Guys, apologies for the technical difficulties. We've got quite a serious setup here. We've got 4 screens, a camera. So to present a presentation and to do demos, toggling between screens, it's challenging. So obviously it's practice for Ruan and myself to make sure our next webinar we've streamlined it, because the nice thing about these webinars, guys, is that we want to showcase TP-Link Aginet and ACS and where TP-Link is going as an ISP vendor. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, we're launching an exciting initiative for existing and new ISPs, right? So what we've done as a vendor, we've had some internal meetings, some strategies around how can TP-Link be different to our competitors in the market, right? So we understand who our competition is, what are they offering, and where TP-Link can match and be better. So this is what we're going to do. The EX520 is one of our flagship Wi-Fi 6 routers, okay? It's a AX3000 dual band Wi-Fi 6 router. It's got 4 gigabit ports, supports easy mesh, ISP remote management protocols. So this creates a very practical entry point. Any disti of your choice, you can ask them for the EX520. When you purchase an EX520, we will send you the TAUC registration and login. And as you can see there, it's 2 years TAUC standard included in the purchase of the EX520. What we're trying to do is grow the TAUC awareness, go away from on-prem server or hypervisor. This is the plan and strategy for TP-Link. It's starting this month. We're excited about it. I think it's a game changer for the ISP market. Why? The TAUC platform in the US is rated one of the best. I mean, I've got ISP customers that I speak to all the time. They tell me that they get a lot of feedback from TAUC use in the States, for example. They love the platform. So we find it's exciting to showcase this. We'll send a follow-up email after the webinar. If you're interested, let me know. I can send you the link in the registration, and then we can also offer some technical support and training. But obviously, this is based on the EX520. We are looking at other devices. There's another surprise coming, but we'll look at that in Q3. We'll save that for the next session. If there's information on that, we'll send some information out. But it's relating to the TAUC standard package that we're showcasing today. So yeah, that's exciting from our side. We believe it's going to help ISPs grow their business, manage their customers, take away a lot of issues that they're experiencing in the field. And I believe the TAUC platform with ACS integrated into the cloud, for us, it's a game changer. I believe it's a game changer for the ISPs.
Yeah, so basically, what we are busy implementing is a actual TR069 platform combined with TAUC. So it's actually it's going to be called TAUC ACS, and we are also working on standardizing, well, at least all our Aginet devices that work on TR069. Obviously, there are some older Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 4 devices that only operate on 069 and 181, not 369 as TAUC. So yes, it's quite exciting to this will be a much cheaper option as well. Obviously, you won't have all the Wi-Fi management, all that incorporated into it, but it's going to be a lot cheaper to manage your devices in bulk, where you would not have to deploy a ACS on premises. So it is exciting. Once we've finalized all the dates, we will share that further. Let's just move on to. Yeah, I think we can start. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, just to say, why does this matter to ISPs? The move towards the TAUC ACS is not only about adding more features, it's about simplifying your operations on a daily. Many ISPs need to manage server infrastructure, maintain ACS environments, monitor devices, troubleshoot, and still keep customers happy. We all know that everybody complains. Most people complain, "Oh, my Wi-Fi is bad," and they always blame the ISP, or they phone our call center and blame the vendor. So we're trying to mitigate that. I believe, and we believe as a team and as a vendor, this is going to be mitigated quite substantially by TAUC ACS. There's a couple of key points for ISPs. The benefit is clear: less complexity, lower operational overheads, better scalability, faster support for customers. Because service is also important for ISPs to offer customers, not just about giving a router and a fiber line and saying good luck. You want to manage and look after those customers. Why? Because they'll tell their friends, their family. Social media is a big thing. People complain, or they give you good reviews on Hello Peter or any platform. So this is exciting for us and for you. Ultimately, TAUC is about giving service providers the tools to manage growing networks. We all know you guys want to grow more revenue. That brings us to the end of the session, guys. Thank you once again for your time. We appreciate you joining us. Apologies again for the technical glitches. It does happen, but we try and be better all the time. We look forward to your questions.
Okay, guys. Yeah. So drop some questions in. We're here to answer. Obviously, we've run through it. Apologies. Just need to check something out here. We've run through everything quite quickly. We might have missed something, so you guys are welcome to ask some questions. Okay, so we've got one here. The standard TAUC cost 99 cents or US cents per device. Is that a yearly cost? Yes, that's a yearly cost. But as we said, with the EX520s, we will be canceling that fee, and we'll make sure that you've got those devices online for at least 2 years, if not more.
Also, what we will look at, we'll do a case by case. If an ISP or ISPs purchase a lot of EX520s and it's warranted, we could potentially even look at giving year 3 for free. But that's a case by case. It's something this is a new venture for TP-Link, the brand, the Aginet ISP team. So we're going to obviously see how it progresses, what the buy-in is with the TAUC stuff, and then we can tweak it. We'll have a TAUC advanced package, which is a paid service, but that's not going to be showcased right now. We want customers to invest in the TAUC for free. So hence the purchase of the EX520.
What is one of the key advantages of Aginet for ISPs? Is a different comment we got, or a question. Aginet for ISPs, obviously. So Aginet ACS alone is provided for free for all of our ISP customers. This is, as you saw earlier, it's quite a simple process to get that installed in your network. Yeah, I mean, this is a free setup software that's ready to run. So that's definitely a big advantage. No, big configurations or back end.
And the main thing is also for ISP is device management. That's a key component of.
Yeah, but I mean that's overall for ACS. But our Aginet ACS, what we offer them is a pre-configured solution. Okay. Is there any other question? Okay, yeah, and obviously we've got Aginet Config and Config Log or Lock. Excuse me. This is great. This is something we didn't touch on this session. Is if you do Aginet Config upgrade or config allocation, once that device boots up with the configuration that you've loaded on it, it will actually keep the ISP config on. Yeah, so this is what we call reset. ISP reset safe. There's a few terms that we've had for it. But yeah, that's definitely also something very, very nice.
So as the year progresses and the TAUC buy-in gets bigger and better, there will be more, let's say launches, but more information. Ruan mentioned the TR3, the TR069. Will basically say to you guys, these are the devices. For example, the Wi-Fi 5. I mean, that standard is quite strong still in the market. ISPs are moving to Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi 7's already moving there. But for your TR069, the older routers, we potentially will be adding TAUC standard for that as well with the TR3 or the TR069. So it's exciting things happening. The management platform, I mean, it's amazing. We're quite excited as a vendor to launch this into South Africa. We're trying to be at the forefront with this launch. So very exciting. Any other questions? I haven't seen any other questions as yet. We'll give it another few minutes.
Okay, so we just got one that came in. Okay, so ACS. Okay, let's just read it. Can ACS detect poor Wi-Fi coverage areas? ACS cannot. TAUC can to an extent. So if you have more than one device on your network, you could actually start getting a good idea on what devices are well, what devices are experiencing bad Wi-Fi connectivity, and in what areas these happen. So with that, you could determine, well, we need to deploy another mesh device in the middle of these two, or one further down the house. And this is a good upsell for ISPs as well. Once they determine that, most of the time the clients connected to the devices are getting bad service or poor signals, they could then recommend to the customer that, yeah, look, we do see that trend, and we've actually got a HX141 that we could offer you for additional fee. So yeah, to an extent, yes, but not. I mean, you'd have to know where your bad spots are. But yeah, maybe in the future we could include a topology into a network, and it will actually identify exactly where the dead spots are. Okay, so we've got another question here. Is there a minimum or maximum number of EX520s that need to be purchased for the free TAUC offer? No, as long as you're ISP, and you've signed up with us, I don't think there's a minimum.
So
there's definitely not a maximum.
Yeah, the idea around this is we want our customers, new and potentially, existing and new customers, to start seeing the benefit of the TAUC platform. So there's no minimum number. The maximum number could be potentially the 3 years that we offer you after the 2 years. So like I said, we have to start seeing the buy-in. If it's successful and it's warranted, we will then offer the 3rd year for free as well. So basically, it's 2 years as it stands. We'll send a follow-up email. Every single customer on this webinar that's interested, we'll send you the registration and the login details. You'll get the credentials. You log in, and then obviously purchasing of the EX520, we can assist you with the setup. If there's technical training that needs to be assisted with, we're more than happy to do it. It doesn't matter if you're in Gauteng or Cape Town, Durban. We can do team sessions as well as face-to-face. So
just on that note, if you guys want to start playing around with TAUC, we could offer a trial account for 3 months. You could add a few devices on there, and see how it is for you before you start purchasing. So yeah, welcome to send those requests on email. We'll get you signed up for the trial accounts.
questions?
Okay.
Another question.
Can ACS detect compromised CPE behavior patterns? Could you elaborate on that? Is it possible? What do you mean by compromised CPE behavior? Is this like internal network security, or? Yeah, if you can just elaborate on that, we can look at it. So yeah, while we're waiting for a little bit more in-depth description there, we just need to establish at the moment, guys, ACS and TAUC is two different platforms. ACS is typically hosted on a customer environment or in a customer environment, where TAUC is a cloud-based service that TP-Link offers. We've got AWS servers hosting these platforms. Yeah, so TAUC is a more advanced analytics Wi-Fi monitoring platform, where ACS is more just bulk device management. So ACS would not be able to detect any internal issues or compromises. TAUC would definitely, to an extent, also be able to detect if there's any rogue DHCP servers running, or if there's any suspicious traffic. We haven't fully launched the app monitoring or application monitoring on it, but it is in development for I think we're not sure what version it is, but it should be launched later this year, where it's a little bit more like our Omada stuff that has deep packet inspection. I did see something like that on the roadmap. So yes, the security is definitely a big part of the roadmap.
100%. So as new things happen with the R&D and HQ, they get sent to us, and then we can advise and send this to our DIST partners, and then obviously our ISP customers. Any more questions? Awesome stuff, guys. Thank you very much for today. We appreciate your time. We are going to be having another webinar towards end of June. We'll send out the invitation probably not next week, the week after. The topic of that webinar will be in the subject line. We'll discuss as a team what the subject would be or topic, but it will be exciting. We might be looking at, Ruan might disagree, at Macusis, because it has a place in the market because of the price points and the functionality, also ACS. So we'll decide on that. We're going to be hosting quite a few webinars, guys. We might do some reruns of the ones we've done, the popular ones, and obviously as a team we'll see what interests our customers. If you guys have any advice or you want to learn more about our Aginet ACS platforms, we can incorporate that into our webinars. We're happy to do that. We listen to our customers. It's not about us, it's about you. Without you, we don't have business. So we appreciate you. We want to grow these relationships. Looking forward to meeting all of you. If I haven't met you yet, it would be nice. If you're based in Gauteng, happy to come to your office. You're more than welcome to come visit us at our offices in Midrand. If you're based in the region, we do travel quite a lot. So happy to meet you wherever, or if not on Teams. Sure. Next question. Can I ask something off topic? Maybe you'll cover this in another webinar. Sure. What is the topic?
Mr. Theo, as long as it's not too far off topic, still part of our daily operations, you're welcome. Sure, if he's typing. But yeah, I think
we can take that offline.
Yeah, let's.
I've got Theo's details, so I'm happy to send him a message, and we can see if it's relevant or if it's something we can discuss with them. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. We will send you the video as well. It'll probably be sent tomorrow or Friday. If you want the presentation, we're happy to send it to you in a PDF format. Here's a new post. More info on Omada and MSPs. No, sure, we can discuss that. Yeah, an Omada, our Omada stack is just for an overview from a networking perspective for enterprise. We've got a cloud version called Essentials. It's also free. And we have a Omada standard, like Ruan touched on, DPI. deep packet inspection, that's deep analytics on your network. But that is our other team, Francois and Adele. They manage the Armada and VG stack. VG is our enterprise surveillance. So they've also got Armada Central, so you can manage your network and your surveillance on the same platform. And it's amazing products. There's design tools on there, so you can topology, schematics, you can design a network. A very exciting project. If ISPs have big customers in big estates, you can use Armada access points. So in case mesh units, a guy doesn't want mesh, he wants proper APs like Ubiquity, then you can compete with on the Armada stack. That's an opportunity for ISPs to upsell as well. So happy to look at it. We can pass you on to Armada and to Francois and Adele. Ruan and I know the products pretty well. I mean, we work for TP-Link. We have to know all our product lines. Our main focus is Aginet, which is our ISP product line, and Macusis. But like I said, we know all the products, so we're happy to assist wherever we can, because there might be opportunities for you guys to sell enterprise access points. So yeah, happy to look at that.
Yeah. So yeah, once again, thank you everyone, and yeah, happy to discuss Armada with you further, Theo. Yeah, thanks Theo for always joining our webinars.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, lekker.
Thanks everybody. Have an awesome afternoon. Have a good week further, and stay warm. It's getting cold. And see you soon, guys. Keep well. Thank you.
Cool. Goodbye.